Mayara and Nuran from LifeBest.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, your voice is cracking in between.
Okay. Shall we start with the questions? Or you need some time?
Okay, yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay. I'd like to talk to you about your start, the way you started in the industry in your career. Was it as most of modeling, or you had this in mind to be an actress?
Okay, so I had the inclination towards acting, dancing, any form of art. And during my school days, I was very inclined towards the artistic side. And I wanted to explore it, but never had the idea that I would ever become an actor. So it was just like a luck by chance. The audition of my first show happened 12 years back,
Mm.
and I had made it through the audition. I went to Mumbai, and henceforth my career began.
Mm-hmm. As a female actress, what are the obstacles you usually, from the first beginning of your career, what were the obstacles you were facing? And did they differ with the moving on and going on with your career and the growth that you have and the limits that you have reached nowadays?
Okay, so I would say that my struggles were not gender specific.
Uh-huh.
My struggles were more to do with the kind of environment I was brought up in. I belong to a conservative family, and I have been brought up in the northern part of India,
Hmm.
which still believes in family background, of cultural, important to the fact that we are brought up in a conservative environment. So for me to move from that, and yes, my family belongs to all academicians, so everybody has degrees with them.
Uh-huh.
To incline towards the acting or inclined towards film industry was like a great shift for the entire family. So for me to settle down in a totally new environment, go in a city which has extremely busy life, I had cultural shock. I was, putting up with a lot of pollution, population, and a totally new environment to work with because I was during my first year of graduation, very new to the industry, to their norms, to their culture and everything. So I was like fresh off the boat, who was suddenly thrown into a cutthroat competitive environment. So those were my struggles to, maintain myself in those environments, in that kind of competitive scenarios. And I wasn't much of a. I just lost the chain of thoughts that I had. So you may just ask the question again, or maybe later.
You were talking about the culture shock you had when you first came to Mumbai.
Oh yes. So I was explaining that how my struggles were, um, you know, kind of different from the stereotypical ways of how we say that, women find difficult to get work in the industry than men and all. So my struggles weren't gender specific.
Uh-huh.
And also to add to it, um, back then, I mean like 12 years back or so, especially television industry, had this rigorous um, working hours for like, which used to easily exceed beyond 20 hours, 22 hours. I have shot for like 32 hours at a stretch without taking a nap. So that was also kind of a burden on my physical health and mental well-being. I had to fight through that as well, and stand up for my well-being, because no human being under any circumstance can work beyond the capacity or physical capability.
Hmm.
So over the years, I have had my share of challenges and struggles, but I have been able to live through them, make possible changes that would have been like a benefit for the makers and the actors, and hence, there are different kind of challenges now, I would say, but yes, there are struggles and challenges, and they become a part of our normal day-to-day life or work culture.
How could you manage this all these things? How could you overcome the culture difference? How could you overcome those late hours of working and long hours of working? How could you overcome this?
So, to begin with the cultural difference, yes, it was a cultural shock for me, but with passage of time, I realized that it is very important to adapt to the environment, to observe different cultures around, to fit myself into the way maybe the industry works or maybe the culture. So I kind of put myself into the situation where I had no choice than to learn the new ways. Secondly, with working hours, slowly and steadily, I realized that, it is affecting my physical health, it is affecting my mental health. I started putting my foot down. And I stood for myself, saying that, it is inhuman to be working beyond 12 hours in a day. And slowly and steadily, of course, makers, producers, they do understand. They see that, and we belong. I mean, if we are not sleeping physically well, it just reflects on your face. And faith is what we are. It is the most valuable asset for us. Our mental well-being is the most valuable asset for us. So we have to first realize it for ourselves, and then we can put forth our point of view and make the others understand. And with respect to, I talked about the working hours, I talked about the cultural shock. Okay, and also with work ethics. So I believe that, of course, first I was, fresh off the boat. I was pretty naive and I did not understand how the industry works, or maybe, what are the typical norms and norms of going about in our industry. So I have learned them through a steady process, and I have always been a learner. I never go about saying that, oh, I know it all, or oh, I know how the industry works, this is how it should work. So I don't impose my point of view. I always try and imbibe this spirit. I always try and learn new things, and that learning spirit has helped me understand people, understand the way our industry works, understand where I should be strong, understand where I should be flexible. So, it has been a cumulative, lessons or chapters of my life that I have enthusiastically been able to put to test, and been able to put them in my work ethic and in my life in total.
This takes us to another point. I know that you like reading a lot. Okay. How does this affect you as an actress? Reading and being culture.
Would you please repeat the question?
how I know that you like reading. You like to be in
Yes.
touch with other civilizations and cultures, and so does this affect you as an actor?
So I think as an actor, um, art is what you thrive on. And for me, art is everything in and around you that also encompasses different culture, human behavior, places around, relationships around, ethics around. Um, I mean, whatever you see around is a part of your creative being and creative instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to be well versed or for you to be well connected to it, you have to either read about it or be in the environment or even for that matter, travel around to learn, to imbibe the wisdom of the world,
Yeah.
the wisdom of the culture, the wisdom of the history, the wisdom of the future that is being created on a very conscious level.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these are the things that an artist herself or himself should be curious enough to learn.
Mm.
And learning is something that has no age or no time. The more you learn the new things, the more you explore new things, I think it just adds to your creative side. And the more creative, innovative, expressive you are, the better and refined actor you become.
I totally agree. Um, Let me tell you about Shakti. Shakti was your most recent work. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it kind of a challenge for you to perform a role of a transgender?
Yes,
Weren't you
absolutely.
afraid of?
Very challenging with that.
Yeah. How did you prepare for it? Weren't you afraid of the reaction of the people?
Yes, it was very challenging. Yes, I was very afraid of the fact that whether this character would propel my career or just end my career. I was very fearful, but
Mm-hmm.
because it was a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take up the challenge because I was hearing that all my contemporaries have put down the role. Nobody is wanting to take up such a challenging character. Nobody wants to invest their time into such a show which has quite an unpredictability.
Mm-hmm.
So that risk factor was something that really excited me, but I was nervous at the same time. But then you had this very, how do you say, small voice within, the gut feeling. I just went by my gut feeling and I said, let me take up the challenge. Let me see whether, this becomes like a turning table for me or it just backfires my choice of the role that I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a very delicate walk between falling off or maybe taking off. And I think it was like since the concept was disclosed to me, through the time it was actually disclosed on the show. So it was like a period of 4 to 5 months that I was literally walking on the eggshells, not knowing what will happen. But I feel really grateful to the fact that it was taken in a great spirit. The show really did well. People were, welcoming enough for such a bold concept, and the makers really did a fantastic job. So, in total, it really reaped the fruit.
Yeah, it was a real huge success. But who decided to end Samia's role? You decided that
Sorry.
Samia. Who decided to end Samia's role?
Okay, so I would say it was a decision, of course, of the makers because that power lies in their hands. And we could not figure out that how with the leap or the progression of the story would Soumya be a part of it. Soumya has been the most important in the central part of the show, but the show had to take a leap. They had to extend the story further, and as we, as they say, the show must go on.
Mm-hmm.
The journey of Soumya had to ease at a certain point, or maybe take another turn at a certain point, and the show had to take the other way. So I think the producers, the channels, the creators of the show took a collective decision of, just distancing the show from the character Soumya and taking it forward and seeing whether it works or not. And for that thing, I had to take a stand that whether I want to, be a part of the leap or not. So I would say that, the character Soumya, yes, still is there. Even, if you see after 4-5 months also, they still talk about Soumya. The story still revolves around Soumya. But me doing that character of Soumya and taking the story ahead has just taken a little pause, and it is definitely in the mind of makers how they want to reshape the entire thing again.
Mm-hmm. So you've been working for 3 years with Vivian Desena, and he's very well known for not getting along with his co-actresses, and so weren't you worried or afraid of that? Or the chemistry between you and him was quite clear on screen, but what was the kind of setting that you had together?
Okay, so I would say that, it takes two to tango. Whatever his so-called reputation has been with his co-actors, it does not matter to me, because when it comes to my work ethics, or when it comes to me having a professional sphere with my co-actors, I have never had a problem, and so it has been with Vivian Desena as well. He's been wonderful to me. He has really been appreciative, flexible, and supportive. So it takes two characters to build a chemistry. And I think that can be easily and beautifully done if you keep your egos aside. And that is for both. Both the actors. You have to understand that, the show is greater than your ego. Your work is greater than your personal differences. And I've not faced anything of that sort with Vivian. So whatever his previous image or so-called, the talks about him with his co-actors have been, it really didn't matter to me. Because I am, when it comes to working style, to accommodate co-actors with you, I'm very different from the others, I would say, because I really do not mingle my personal life with my professional life. And it's all about mutual respect. So if you are respectful with your contemporaries, there is no way the other person has a reason to be disrespectful, disparaging, or has the ways of throwing tantrums. So he or she, whatever they do in their individual space is their problem. However they want to act out is their own responsibility and concern. I cannot take up that, nor can I imitate that. So with that clarity, we both have had the pleasure of working with each other with a great understanding and respect on the set. It's been good.
So can we say that you tend to like sensitive to work in some kind of sensitive project that deal with the taboos of you like to work in sensitive projects that are dealing with the taboos of the society or the community you're living in?
Um, I would not say that I like taking up sensitive subjects, but I like taking up challenges. And if we can, through our work, become of some service to our people, we can entertain and educate simultaneously through our work. This combination is like a great pleasure to work for.
Yeah.
Not always can we promise that, our projects will be educative, our projects will, change the face of the society. No, it is not possible every time. But yes, rare opportunities, and one really feels grateful to be a part of such opportunities.
Mm-hmm. It's like a trend nowadays, a trend. The web series.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the TV actresses and actors like to go and be involved in such projects like web series and so. So, do you think you can be a part of something like this?
I did not get you.
The web series.
The web series. Okay, I get you. Okay, web series. So,
would you like to be part of a web series?
Definitely yes. If I find the character or the story compelling enough for me to experiment something new, I would definitely. But I have always said and always maintained the fact that for an artist, it does not matter the platform given to him or her. For me, television, films, web series, they are platforms. If I had to excel in any of the platforms, I would be more than happy to experiment.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not very choosy or, very picky about, now I just want to do film, so I'm going to be away from television, or, no more television projects because I want to focus on web series. That's not what I personally choose. For me, it's more about the projects than about the platform.
Even if it's such a daring project, even if the show is daring, it involves, for example, daring scenes and so.
See, if a story demands you to be bold, daring, the character is so challenging enough that it becomes a part of the script. Yes, I am always open for it. But if it is the other way, that you have to be bold so that the show or the script can sell off, then that is not the criteria of doing a project. It is the script that matters, not the adjectives to the script which are given.
Uh-huh. So let me tell you another question. You think nowadays drama in India is a little bit educational or not? I mean, not educational by the meaning, but it works for changing the norms of the society, for example, and the traditions of the society. Did it reach this limit, or you didn't reach that limit yet?
If you say the educational point of view, or maybe trying to preach something, or maybe highlight something, I think Indian television is on the way of doing that. Not going so far, talking about my last show, Shakti. It kind of changed the perspective, at least of the people that I know around, at least of people who have been connected to the show, at least the fans that have regularly followed the show. So I can say that for sure that, through entertainment, we are trying to change the face of society in a good way. We try and highlight the cultural difference. We try and highlight the traditions that we have, because India is versatile with tradition and culture. And there are so many shows which focus particularly on, a certain type of tradition, a certain type of culture, a certain way of thinking, a certain aspect of the society. So for the audience, we have quite a mix of different things, and those different things kind of highlight our versatility as the nation. And in a way, I would say that television is doing quite a progressive march towards educating or maybe refreshing that concept to our audience.
Okay. I've watched your short movie, by the way, and it made me cry. It made me all in tears. Okay, because yeah, yeah, I felt the pain of the woman who lost her child and going to bury him, and I was so much yes, I was so much in pain, and I shed tears a lot. I just need to know how did you prepare for this short role? A role like this, not more than 7 minutes, a very limited and short scene, and at the same time you managed well to be influential and effective on the audience that are watching.
So thank you so much. I mean, if I can, through my character, make people laugh or cry, it is like a great compliment for me. So thank you so much. I would want to give the entire credit for this whole look, character, or the simplicity of such a powerful story to my very talented husband, Abhinav Shukla. He was the one to perceive the character, detail the character so vividly that I just listened to him what he had to explain about the character and the pain and pathos that woman had to go. So I was open and receptive to that idea and concept. And when you understand a character, I believe that for an artist it becomes easy to reflect that thing. So that reflection part was something that I'm very honest with when it comes to performance. And I believe that, that honesty somewhere touches people when they see. The rest, the screenplay was beautifully written by Abhinav. His direction was like on the point. He knew what he's doing. And it was easy for us as actors to translate that through our acting.
It was a great project, and I think that short movies and short films nowadays are going to show us a broad range of talent, because not all the talented people can get on screen easily in films like that, without makeup, without fancy clothes. I mean, it was quite a challenge, and it was a very good movie. Though it was very short, it could deliver the message in a very good way.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to ask you another question. This takes us to another point. The Bollywood issue nowadays, all the people are talking about nepotism in Bollywood, and it's locked and restricted only on the people that are well known to each other in the industry and things like that, a certain circle and so. So, would you prefer to stay in your safe place in the medium of television and so, or would you take your chances if you had a Bollywood offer?
As I said that, a platform does not matter to me. If the story, the film, the script is worth taking the risk, I would not mind doing that, because after all, it boils down to how you conduct yourself, how you want to be perceived, and that power solely lies in your hands. So, given that, I'm open for it.
So, you will be...
I answered your question. Was there another part?
Yeah. So, you will be concerned with the script. if you take you will take the chance and you'll be concerned with the script. Um, Even though
Yes, it's all about the story.
yeah, even though you don't have a godfather, that so you cannot survive, the competition of Bollywood and things like that. I mean, nowadays, uh-huh.
See, there's how I look at it. If um, if if the director, the producer, or the maker feels that me as an actor can justify a character, and I find the character or the script worth taking the risk, I would do that without any help or so-called godfather in the industry, because it is the talent which you have, the polished through your skill, which will highlight you. Now comes the way of survival.
Mhm.
You look at it in two different perspectives.
Mhm.
Once you do a film, whether you want to just wait for another big hit for you to survive in the industry, or you are okay given a chance to be back in television.
Mhm.
So for me, the second part is always, as I mentioned, that I know where to be flexible, I know where to be adamant.
Mhm.
So for me, if platform does not matter, so if I've done a fantastic blockbuster film and I get another great opportunity in a web series or television, I would not mind coming back to it, because it's not like that, film is an upgrade. I don't see it as like, television actor is a little less than any film was. So if
Mhm.
I do a film, I would be happy and open and, grateful about coming back to television and doing another project in television. So
Mhm.
here comes the question of whether you look at it as survival or whether you want to be adamant with your egoistic self saying, yeah, now because it's about Bollywood, it's about films, I'm going to just choose to be in the films, and then I'm going to find my struggle there, or no matter what. So that is the ego self. But for an artist, it should not matter that what platform you're given. Yes, television is like, daily soap. It becomes repetitive. You have to have expansion of stories and all. So that's how you want to be with it. If you get to perform every day, why not? I see it as an opportunity given every day.
Mhm. So this will take us to Sushant's case. What do you think about the whole issue? Was it exaggerated by the media, or was he really facing nepotism and things like and depression and things like that?
Okay, so you're talking about nepotism and depression. Two things.
Uh huh. I mean, with Sushant, was did the
Okay, so
media
Sushant's case. Okay.
did the media exaggerate the whole thing, or did he really face nepotism and depression?
I have known him personally only for few years,
Mm.
till the time we were doing the show on the same channel.
Mhm.
So to talk about him being depressed is not my right, because I have not known him well.
Mhm.
To talk about nepotism,
Mhm.
again, I am no one to pass a verdict on it, because so far I have known him. Was a fabulous human being,
Mm.
had an incredible journey, rising from nowhere, reaching to the heights.
Mhm.
So, for a person like him who has been self-made, who has seen the real struggle, who has risen from, literally from the ground, I don't think so that would have led him to do such a step in the name of nepotism or in the name of depression.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm sure there is more to it. Honestly, I have not been following anything on him, because losing him as an actor, as a human being, has been like a great loss for the industry, for people who have known him, for his family. So that loss is irreparable, or I think can be argued so much over whether it was depression or nepotism. But definitely I would say that, justice should be served. The truth should be known, what exactly happened. But for him, he was a fantastic human being. And I would not, give that credit to anybody who brags about that, he took this step because of nepotism or depression. He was intelligent, wise man, and these things definitely wouldn't have bettered him to take such a huge drastic step.
Okay. I'd like to ask you about shows like the dancing shows in India, known all over India, and so. Would you like to be part of any of these?
I did not get you.
Big shows like the Jalak Diklaja and things like that. The dancing shows.
Okay.
Would you like to be part?
Uh-huh.
If you had the chance.
I mean, definitely. It's just that I shouldn't be busy in some of my daily soaps, because then, daily soap or a film or any web series project does not give you time enough to be a part of such reality shows. But if I'm exclusively free and I get an opportunity, I would dive into it.
Uh-huh. Okay. I have another question about the lockdown. Since the start in the 15th of March, how could you manage your time? I know that most of the TV actors and actresses were too busy all along the year, from this project to that project, and now it was all over, and everything was locked up. So how could you manage your time? How was it, like a big vacation? Or was it a little bit boring, or what?
It definitely wasn't a vacation at all. It was a time of struggle and a time of learning for me. Struggle, I would say, because I've never, after being a part of this industry, which has been so busy and competitive and round the clock, this was the first time ever that I had absolute nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And on the same time, so much to do at home that I did not realize how the time went by. So it was like a mix of everything. It was an overwhelming time. It still is an overwhelming time, because the world together is facing this crisis. We all are into this stressful time together. The entire outlook has changed.
Mm-hmm.
The environment has changed. The nature has, pushed the reset button. And we all as human beings have been pushed behind our four walls to see, experience, and taste the beauty of simple living, basic lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Devoting ourselves more to our health, to our mental well-being. So I think we have, forcibly been pushed to rethink our ways of leading our lives. And in a way, it is like, if you see, it is the most beautiful change that is happening. Yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it's unbearable. Yes, it's unpredictable. But I'm very sure that after everything passes by, for each one of us, with the losses that everybody is facing, there is something that is going to come out as more profound, more strong, and more beautiful to each individual.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think, nature's way of letting us know that how much damage we have done to the environment and to ourselves, to our neighborhood, to our society, with being cutthroat in competition, with being disrespectful to the environment, with being full of attitude and ego, arrogance, with being running around, behind the materialistic possessions. It's cutting off from our ties, from our roots, from where we have risen. I think in totality, the whole facade of, I want this, the greed, the unending desire of wanting every time. I think that has been curbed by the nature, and nature is telling us that, you have to pause, rethink, rebuild, rejuvenate, and reconnect to your soul back again. And I'm a harsh way of doing it, but I think we all need it.
Uh-huh. Do you think that actors or people who are working in the industry should have a side work, a side career, a side project?
I think our industry being uncertain and unpredictable, we have to balance ourselves, because it's not necessary that one should have a business second option or maybe second living, but one can be sure and honest with their own craft to build something new for themselves and for the others who are connected to them. So by that I mean that, an artist is not only the one who would act, an artist would be the one who would even create. So for an artist, any form of art, whether it is creation, whether it is acting, whether it is singing, performing, anything, has so much of potential and opportunity, and especially during these times, before the COVID, we had so much of, and we still have so much of opportunities that we can open up for ourselves and for the others, that being in the industry, we can thrive. But yes, if you just think in a way that, because television or films is full of glamour and has a lot of fame and has a lot of money, so I think I should focus there, and that is what my way of being is, then it will be short-lived. Then yes, of course, you should have a second backup plan as well. But if you are more of an artist, but if you are more of, true to your own craft, then I think our industry provides ample for you to survive and thrive. It is your choice that you make. It is your decision that you make. You want to see it as a mode of fame, money, and success, or you want to see it as your path of seeking your passion, your talent, your acting skills, your art style. So these are two different things that one approaches, and depending on that is your career defined. It can be short-lived, it can be a long-term thing, and then you can explore your opportunities there.
We've seen videos of you cooking. I think in your home. You're now in your hometown, right? Farming and cooking.
Yes.
How did this affect you as a person? Your personality, your tranquility. You know what I mean? In such time, does it have something to do with your peace, your inner peace?
Sorry, last part.
With your inner peace. Farming and returning to your hometown and cooking, does it the nature being connected to nature in your hometown, does this whole thing reflect on you peacefully?
Absolutely. So I belong to a very tranquil village. I belong to the mountains. And I say it with utmost pride. But I have hailed from the remotest place. Maybe this place would not even show up on a Google map. So I'm from that place. So, but it is like a heaven, and I have realized its importance now, because as a teenager, as a youngster, you always want to run behind fame, excitement, success. You want to be there competing and want to be on a glamorous side. Of course, with living your passion and your you still want to chase things materialistic to do. But now, as I would say, as the time passes, age progresses, you understand the value of being so connected to your roots. You understand the value of being in nature, being in silence, being in peace, being around greenery. That that's all what matters. And it is so important for you to revive your soul. And your soul can only be revived when you will be authentic. And you can only be authentic if you accept and embrace your roots. So for me, going back to my village, living a simple life, farming, growing my own vegetables, cooking on my own, looking after my cattle farm, it kind of has given a new perspective and meaning to my life. And this was so needed. This was so needed. I don't know how it will shape or how it will help in my, like my tomorrow or my future. But for right now, it is the most important thing that I am living and thriving on. And I feel that it just gives me a sense of gratitude for me to be back into my youth. It gives me a sense of nourishment. It gives me a sense of purpose in life. And the entire thing has just changed the perspective, the way I looked at life, the way I understood that, how should I be moving ahead in my life? What should I be doing? This is what I want to do. Kind of has just, taken a back seat. And right now I'm living in the moment in very peaceful, tranquil surroundings.
I know you love traveling and exploring. And what is your next destination right after the lockdown?
Right after the lockdown. I don't know. I have, for the longest, I have been a person, who schedules everything, has a plan for another 1 year, but I've kind of, given up on that, or maybe, kept it aside, because Corona times have definitely taught us that, time and life can be unpredictable. There is a lot of uncertainty. So why just not live in the moment? So I'm kind of practicing living in the moment. I'm kind of practicing being mindful. So anything which involves what I'm going to do, like in the next 2 to 3 months, it has been very difficult for me. It still is very difficult for me not to think what I'll do in the next 2 to 3 months. But I am purposely living in the moment, purposely being mindful, and not wanting to think about that.
Okay. We'd love to have you here in Egypt, by the way. And right after the lockdown, you should come to Egypt. We'll be waiting for you.
Yes. I would not say I'm looking forward to it, but I am open for it.
Okay. I'll wrap up with a question about your next project. Anything ahead?
As of now, nothing.
Excuse me?
As of now, nothing.
As for nothing?
Project, right?
Yeah. As for nothing. So, who would you like to, if we're going to talk about the next project as if we're imagining just in our mind, who would you like to work with or share the screen with?
Share the screen with you. As I said, I'm open for all the opportunities. Whosoever or whatever, leads around for another challenging concept, project, character. I'm just like, arms open for it.
With any production house?
I would say. I've had wonderful time with Rashmi Sharma Telephone. So, I'm also open to work with different production houses. So I think it's all about how we build in a team together. It's all about a teamwork. So wherever I go, I'm gonna create that team. Wherever I work, with whomsoever I work, I make sure that I create that environment of friendliness, of enthusiasm, of looking forward to coming to work again. So it really doesn't matter whom I work with. What matters is how I work with those people to create that environment of, lasting memories for a team to survive and be successful with whatever they do. So that's what my enthusiasm is.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure with a person like you, any environment or any setting you be involved in, it will be very peaceful and enthusiastic. It was a great interview. Really, I like you as a person. I liked you as an actress, and now I like you as a person so much.
That's kind of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks from me and Nuran, my friend. Thank you so much.
Lovely speaking to you.
Thank you so much.